Welcome to Daddy Daughter Fodder.
Where conversation meets culture. What are we talking about today?
So, what cultural topic? Let's talk about masculinity.
Okay. I love talking about this topic. Why? Because it's actually on my TikTok. That is the first video that has the most views today. It has all of my other videos put together views, like. And it's above that. Like, it's got 5 million views talking about masculinity, talking about men, defending the guys. So I'm so excited to talk about masculinity.
So, do you feel like men are being marginalized, or there's an attempt? I'm not going to say it's successful. Is there an attempt to marginalize or redefine, or what's happening with men in our culture?
The matriarchy is happening. Honestly, I feel like the feminists right now are attacking men at all sides, talking about dismantling the patriarchy. But that's actually not a thing.
But that's in exchange for a matriarchy.
Yeah, exactly. We literally think that dismantling the patriarchy, because it's not really a thing.
So you say that with this nefarious overtone.
The patriarchy.
Is that a bad thing?
The patriarchy?
Yeah.
The patriarchy doesn't exist, and that's why I'm like, the patriarchy, because it sounds like we're talking about something secret, and that thing just really doesn't exist.
This big club that everybody's a part of.
The patriarchy. I'm trying to differentiate myself from the crazy radical feminists and the normal people. So
what is being perpetuated against the patriarchy?
It means ushering in the matriarchy. It basically thinks of masculinity, being a guy, just overall male energy, as a poison, and femininity is the antidote. And until we take everything that's masculine in this society and we replace it with everything that's soft and feminine and female, we will never be rid of the toxic masculinity. We will never be rid of the patriarchy.
So who gets to decide that men are toxic? Who come to that conclusion? I mean, it has to be women, because I don't think most men go men are toxic.
I think that women just got loud enough and long enough, and the men were like, I'm so tired, whatever you want. And the girls are like, oh yeah.
So media, culture, social media, all of that gave the voice to somebody who was anti-man. Is it safe to say? Would you say that our culture now is becoming anti-man?
Yeah, I think everything we do just absolutely despises the dad. Like right now, we talked about this earlier, but like right now, abortion is a big topic. And we basically told men that not only do we not want your opinion, you're not allowed to have an opinion, and we're going to kill your baby whether or not you like it. So I feel like that was a really huge demoralizing blow to the guys as a whole.
Okay, so growing up, what did a man represent to you as a daughter, as a child, as a person, as you observed me?
Well,
what did being a man mean?
I grew up in a really unique environment. Okay, I grew up with you. All my uncles live around here. I grew up in a church full of military men. Who all kind of act like they're some.
Oh, you mean men go to church?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
wow.
Absolutely.
Some churches.
But like I said, I was growing up in a community full of military men, guys, just these masculine guys. They were not feminized. There were nothing about them was feminine, and it was beautiful. It was masculine. I love masculine guys, and they would all kind of act like an extension of you. And you did such a great job as my dad, because you. People call them stereotypes. People call them perpetuating male stereotypes and gender roles. And there is such a place for the nuclear family. And why do we look at gender roles and think it's a bad thing? Just because gender roles are different doesn't mean that they don't have a place in society. But you really did perpetuate gender roles. And I feel like that was the best thing for my brain to comprehend, because society was trying to tell me one thing about gender roles. And then I trusted you. You've never lied to me. You've never given me a reason to not believe you. You really perpetuated the gender roles. And that was the healthiest thing that I ever could have had growing up.
You know, I think as a man, which I am not ashamed of, God made me a man. I intend to stay a man.
You can't change being a man.
Can't change it.
Whether you want to or not, you
can't change it. My DNA is forever locked. Anyway,
forever male.
So I want to represent that well, and I look at the emasculation. Is that a word? I look at the the destruction.
Feminization.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at all the sitcoms, the dad was always an idiot. He knew absolutely nothing, and I'm talking way back in the 80s. That's way back for a lot
The
of
mom ran the household.
Yeah, the moms were always the smart ones. The kids knew everything, and the dads were just absolute idiots.
Or if they were even available.
Yeah, so I enjoy being a man. I enjoy the responsibilities that I have as a man. I enjoy the drive that I have on the inside of me to protect. I enjoy the drive that I have to provide. I want to take care of as a man, as a father. I wanted to protect and provide.
Yeah, when you had, because me and my sister are the oldest, obviously, before my two brothers. When you had two girls first, what were you thinking about raising daughters in this society?
Oh, I was thinking, I have a wife, I have two girls. I think our turtle was a girl. I don't know. I don't really know how to tell turtle sex, but anyway, and the dog was a girl, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But I didn't. I didn't emasculate myself. I felt like I wanted to be the model of a person that I wanted you to ultimately marry.
Yes.
But I mean, even those things, they weren't necessarily conscious, but I've seen the rise of the destruction of the role of a man. And I think that people are scared of men being men.
Yeah.
I think people are scared that there's this tyrannical aspect. And I'm not denying that men can be tyrants, but just as real as men can be tyrannical, you can have men who stand on the side of justice and morality and good. Those are God's version of superheroes here on the earth. We're the ones who are supposed to stand in the gap and be that point of protection and clarity.
Well, I think you kind of freak women out because the first thing that a woman does whenever they're faced with a problem is we internalize it, we run it through our emotional filters. Just that's because we're how we're wired. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but that's how we process things. Guys process things differently. Guys process things through a logical scope. They kind of leave emotions out of it. And then y'all are bashed for being quote unquote heartless when in reality it's just logical. And that's not saying that women processing things through emotions is a bad thing. That's not saying that, because obviously there is a time and place where you have to think like emotionally because you have to have empathy for people. But guys are just wired differently, and because of that, people think it's wrong. And by people, I mean women. Women think it's wrong, and that's not true.
Well, when a man becomes overly emotional, he becomes volatile.
Yes.
And I think that in our culture, we're taught, hey, connect with your emotions. Listen, our emotions are not always a good thing. Very seldom is my emotion consistent with reality. Very seldom, if you follow your emotion, well, if we followed our emotions, we'd be women, and we're not made to be that. See, emotions can be good, but if you follow those emotions to an end and you're physically capable of doing certain things that could bring harm, to somebody else, it becomes dangerous. I think God was very intentional. I think that the attack that we have seen and the marginalization or the attempt of marginalization at manhood in our culture is for confusion.
I heard somebody say this yesterday. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and I'm going to ask you this question. But right now, therapy is like super, super popular. Like everybody going to therapy. Like you see these people interviewing people on the street and going, what is it, a green flag if a man goes to therapy? And she's like, oh yeah, it's the best thing in the world if a man goes to therapy. And then I listened to the podcast yesterday, and the guy said, I think the worst thing in the world is for guys to go to therapy because you sit around and you talk about your emotions all day and you just dwell in yourself and you're only thinking about yourself and you're getting your emotions together. What do you think about that? What do you think about guys and therapy?
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Guys were not designed to be in prolonged emotional states. We can't handle it. We become irrational. We don't like ourselves. We become confused. That's not the way we were designed. If I am put into an emotional situation for a long period of time, I begin to question everything. Very often, men's behavior becomes erratic, a lot of things. We're not designed that way. I think that there is value in a woman and there's value in a man, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the exact same things are brought into relationships and even brought into culture, and that's okay. I'm okay with the fact that I will never be able to have a baby. I'm okay with that. But I am okay also with the fact that it's my responsibility to take care of that baby and that wife. Now, as a dad, I wanted to model to you what a husband was supposed to look like. I wanted to treat my wife in a way that was consistent with the Word of God. And I think that toxic masculinity has become something that's so big because of the fear that has arisen in our culture because of the cultural departure from the guidelines and clarity that Christianity offers. See, the Bible tells us very clearly that as a man, I'm supposed to love my wife, I'm supposed to love my children, I'm supposed to live in a sacrificial manner. If I adopt that, then wow, not only does my family thrive, our culture thrives, but when we push those boundaries, the clarity of that out, then men can become volatile. We can become dangerous. But that's not the way it was designed.
And I feel like we don't really know that now, like especially us as women. If you even if you didn't grow up in a household where the dad was the model of masculinity, then you're kind of with this warped perception, because how your dad treats your mom is kind of how you think relationships should work and how you think people should behave. And if you grow up with a warped view of that, then you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot before you run a marathon. And I feel like that's really perpetuated in this society of divorce culture, of people growing up single parents, of all of those different things that's happening right now. And I feel like it's becoming very detrimental to the family unit.
Yeah, you know, I think the irony is our culture and our social culture now is to celebrate diversity, but yet we're trying to squeeze the beautiful diversity between men and women into one mutilated package. And I mean that. Whenever I see the caricature of a man trying to act like a woman, guys, listen to me. Women do not act like confused men. Do you understand? Men.
So
Women don't talk with lists. That's not the way it works. We don't do that. Now, I mean, that's not the way. If I was a woman, I would be absolutely insulted at the caricature presented as somebody pretends to be something else. And you're under no inclination or pressure to walk around and act like a man. A man doesn't act like a man. A man is a man. A woman doesn't act like a woman. She is a woman. When they begin to act inconsistent with reality is when it becomes a caricature.
What is a woman?
What is it?
I had to ask that. Come on, guys.
The woman is the thing a man marries. All right, there you go. We made that very, very simple. I said this statement. I said we're looking to men pretending to be women to define what women are when women don't even know what women are sometimes.
We are very odd creatures.
We are very odd creatures, but you're beautiful. So when it comes to what would you tell a young lady looking for a man, looking for a spouse? What characteristics would you say are the top 3 most important characteristics? We'll talk about dating later in a parenting episode, but what are the 3 masculine, man-associated characteristics
That I look for, or I think that other women should look for?
well, that you think are obvious that every woman should recognize about a man?
First of all, his character, number one, I don't care. Gotta love God. And even if you're not a Christian, having a man that loves God, that's going to take care of like 90% of any issues that you're going to face. Even if you're
Probably not going to beat you. He's probably going to work.
Yeah.
Those are good things.
Gotta love God. Having that religious, having that set of moral standards is going to annihilate like 90% of your problems.
So
right
you're saying that morality is manly?
Yes,
So
of course.
so why do we feel like that Christianity and manliness are somehow not connected?
I feel like because a lot of the women, you had a statistic, and what was it? What percentage of children follow their parents' faith if it's a man?
This is going to blow your mind. 80% of the time, when the father is a follower,
Right.
the children become followers.
Right.
13% of the time, when a woman is the spiritual person,
Head of the household.
head of the household, which again, we get into something different there. But even when that happens, 13%. So we're talking about this inherent responsibility or opportunity that a man's been given. I tell men this all the time. I say, let me explain something to you, big guy. Wherever you go, be it heaven or hell, there's an 80% chance your children will follow the path that you lay. And they look at me kind of funny. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage men, be godly men. You say, well, where do we belong in society? Where do we fit in society? I'll tell you where you fit. You fit in the church. The church wants you. The church needs you. Young men, old men, we need you. You say, well, what about women? We love women. Women are welcome too. In fact, men, bring a woman with you, or women, bring a man with you. But we, it is not counterintuitive to morality to be a manly man.
100%. And to finish out the other 2 of the questions, I would say having a drive just being passionate about something. And again, that kind of takes care of it in the vein of morality, but be passionate, whether that's about your job or about an issue that you're facing. Be passionate with that.
That's good.
Because that drive is gonna affect you. And if you're with someone that's got a drive, that's motivated, that's going, you're gonna feel that energy. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yeah, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. So definitely a drive. And then lastly, a protector, someone that's really just wants to protect you, because especially for me, I feel like you were my biggest protector, and I would never trust a man that would be like, oh no, you can handle it yourself. Oh, you'll be fine yourself. Like, it's okay. Like, no, you're fine yourself. No, I'm not fine myself. I am not fine by myself. I need you to be there for me. I need a man to be there to come alongside me and be like, I don't care what we face or what's going to happen. I'm always in your corner. I'm always going to protect
but
you.
women can beat up men all the time. We see it on all the Marvel superhero movies.
And they lied to us. I'm gonna put this in perspective for you. Okay, I'm 5'10". Okay, I'm a big girl. I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'10". He's 6 foot. I'm 5'10".
We're gonna arm wrestle.
We're not gonna arm wrestle. Well, actually, do you want us to arm wrestle? Okay, put in the comments if you want us to arm wrestle. We might do that for you. But what I was trying to say is, I'm a big girl, and I know for a fact that if I were to tussle with someone, even if they're shorter than me, with a guy, I would most likely lose. Just because I understand biology. I understand the pure strength that guys have. And as a woman, again, living in this culture of like, you're ingrained and inundated to be taught to be scared of men. I feel like I definitely need a guy that's going to say, I will protect you.
Let me twist the concept just a second. You have incredible defensive abilities. Mm-hmm. They're just in me. For the first season, for the first years of her life, her protective prowess and ability is located in me, her father. And let me tell you, don't make me be Papa Bear. Don't make me shoot you. Anyway, and then later on, guess what? That transfers over to her husband. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to be that.
I don't.
It's designed in this beautiful dance of relationship and social interactivity to where those things that she doesn't have, I can bring along, and that's made up in a man, and that's why it's so beautiful the way God designed things.
But I want to say it's hard, and you say every guy has that. Not every guy has that. They've been inundated with this idea that that they should leave women alone, let women do their thing. They can just do their thing. Like, okay, you got this, girl. You go, girl boss queen, ma'am.
Happy wife, happy life. Do what she says.
No,
she's not your mom. She's your wife.
No, I don't want that. I'm a strong-willed woman, and so I need a man that's strong enough to leave, so I feel safe enough to follow.
Ooh, can you say that one more time?
I need a man that's strong enough to lead, so I feel safe enough to follow.
Wow.
I'm strong-willed.
That's it. Done.
That's it. We're done.
I'm dropping it. No,
we're gonna do dating in a later episode, so we'll go more into this. Anyways, thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time, guys.
Bye.